Death. I wanted to ask you about death. Where are you at?
Let's do it.
Yeah, where are you at with death at this point? Like how, in terms of your kind of conceiving of it, and how do you push it off to the side? Is it something that, you know, is close to you in thinking about your own achievement in life?
I think about death all the time.
Okay.
And that might be, I've read a lot of Stoic philosophy, and it's probably my favorite operating system for doing well in high stress environments. And I also have spent a lot of time in Japan, and was an exchange student there at 15, my first real time outside the United States, where I was exposed to a lot of Zen Buddhist philosophies, among others, or precepts. And they think a whole lot about death, it turns out, and I'm sure most philosophers, monks, and theologians do the same. But
Americans are weird about it.
Americans are weird about it. A lot of people are weird about it.
Yeah.
And I constantly think about death and rehearse death in a way, and set, for instance, memento mori, which are reminders of death, so that I continually ask myself, if I am ready to die, and would I be content with what I have done and what I'm doing if I were to die? I do this every time a plane takes off. I am not, at this point, fearful of death. Right. I think I've trained myself, conditioned myself through a lot of reading and a lot of meditating and writing on this, to be comfortable with the uncertainty of what happens after.
Right.
That's part one. Part two is maybe the counterbalance, which is I am, fearful might not be the right word, worried with the potential descent towards death.
Oh, so sure, sickness and
decline. Sickness and cognitive decline specifically. I have Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Flowers for Algernon was like the scariest book I ever read. Right, exactly. Right, and I have Alzheimer's and Parkinson's on both sides of my family. So I am taking many different steps to try to mitigate cognitive decline. And I mean, in Tools of Titans, in the book, one of the longest chapters is about fasting and ketosis with Dominic D'Agostino, talking about how you might be able to use synthetic ketones as a supplement even to mitigate the risk of cancer growth, but also improve cognitive function and potentially delay the onset of cognitive decline.
And you're willing to take those experiments even before the council of doctors of the universe have all.
I am, and the fact that I am, and the fact of the matter is, I'm always looking at the downside scenario. So if I can cap the downside, and if I understand the downside, then or manage it in the very worst case scenario, then I'm willing to take it because I don't view it as a risk.
Right.
There's very rarely a consensus on anything important, and if there is, it takes a very long time to get there. So I will frequently, like Dominic is a very well-respected and published researcher. He's co-author or primary author on many different papers related to metabolism. For those reasons, I might look at, say, metformin and rapamycin as very interesting pharmaceutical interventions for longevity, but primarily my focus is on delaying, preventing, and/or reversing cognitive decline.
We'll have to check in 40 years from now and see how that's going.
See if I remember.